Welcome everybody to the MPGL, the Mineski Pro Gaming League Season number 7's Class S. It is already in the playoffs and well due to that we have a full best of 5 in the playoffs. This is going to be TNC going up against Execration and the winner of this will go to face Click and Search, I do believe. And of course Mineski is already waiting in the full grand final, so to say. All of the games are going to be best of 5. Unfortunately no best of 7 for you in the finals, but in any case, we're HeflaTV, your English coverage here. I'm Couchor, and I'm also going to be joined by Danelie. How you doing? Or well, I don't even have Danny with me yet. So, thought I thought she had picked up Skype, but I guess not. Of course, the game was supposed to start in about 8 minutes. So, she's probably like getting something to drink or whatnot. So, I'm going to be going solo for a little while here. And whenever she appears, well, she's going to appear. But looking into this, I mean, TNC, they just took apart Arcanis about a week ago in the first round in the playoffs here. And to be honest, I think TNC has been looking more solid than Execration in general. And Execration, of course, do have a bit of a lineup change as well, as we can see here. Or, well, I'm not too sure if they swapped it quite some time ago, because I have to admit, I myself haven't been casting all that much recently because I just have so much so much other stuff going on. But one thing that definitely just pops out is a Bloodseeker ban. And Bloodseeker is a hero that, to be honest, to my liking, is utilized a little bit more so now than before. But other bans, Drow Ranger as well as the Gyrocopter, whereas a Queen of Pain banned out by TNC here. So Execration, what's gonna be their first pick even? It's gonna be an Undying left in the pool. It's not that popular of a hero, to be honest, but you do see it every now and then, and I think Danny is back. Yes, no, maybe. Hello, Danny.
Wait. I think I'm here.
Yes.
I think. Yes? I don't know why. I thought it was you for a second there, but maybe it was me.
What me, man? You
I'm
just
sorry.
didn't answer my call before.
I picked up and then for some reason the internet just disconnected. And it wasn't my internet either, so I was like, oh, maybe Couch is disconnecting. Maybe it's not me for once.
Oh no, it's not me. If it's anything, it's Australian internet, that's for sure.
Ah, okay. Because I even checked the stream and it said it was offline, so I
Oh
think it's
yeah,
just.
I had to restart it because for some reason it wouldn't let me stop recording, but it's back up now. It just were forced to run a 5 minute delay, so it takes quite some time for it to actually start working. But in the draft, nothing too massively out of the ordinary, although I have to say Undying maybe not that popular of a pick.
Um, I feel like he is still a factor that teams can always fall back to. There's a lot of fighting potential that you can have with the Undying. I love the respect band from Execration for that Drow Ranger. I remember TNC even did the interview as well at MPGL. They just say they feel very comfortable with the Drow and they'll even first pick the hero if they get the chance. So Execration doing their homework. TNC though, they ban out Bloodseeker. Is this hero a thing now?
It sure feels like it, although I was like expecting like a Slark first or second pick or something like that when you ban out the Bloodseeker, but I guess some teams maybe just like utilize that hero on a daily basis.
Because I remember, oh my goodness, I forgot what tournament it was, but it was in the European region, and teams started. I think it was Europe, but teams started picking up Bloodseeker, and I was ranting on Twitter saying, "I hope Bloodseeker's not a thing because we're going to see Bloodseeker in pubs, blah blah blah." So, at least we don't see it this game. The hero, he is fun to watch to a point, but he's not really one of those playmaking heroes.
I mean, to be honest, I think Bloodseeker, like the ultimate is crazy strong as long as you will have somebody who can stop TPs. That's it's just the duration of it is so hard to deal with. I mean, 12 seconds, you just have to stand in place or just take huge amounts of damage, pretty much.
Especially
And
in team fights, yeah.
it's also on such a low cooldown that you can kind of abuse it. But Execration now going for Elena as well. So far, I mean, I guess Undying is a little bit tanky, especially if you can get the decay stacks up. But at the moment, Execration feels like they're just going for like maybe short team fights, blowing people up with their magic damage.
With the Undying, I'm curious to see if they're going to run the 2-1-2 or if they're actually going to go for possibly an aggressive tri-lane with the Undying. You can do a lot of aggressive things with Undying. So, as a main farmer for a tri-lane, he's super tanky, not very easy to take down, and he's very good at counter initiating. But if they want to go for a bit more greed and just go for the 2-1-2 lanes, you look at TNC, they have some nice disables, but it's very hard to kill an Undying dual lane, even if you're running a tri-lane, just because you have to worry about the tombstone, plus the possibilities of having your supports having almost no strength because of the decay steals.
Yeah, if Execration do want to go for the tri-lane, it's definitely gonna be scary. Maybe it's gonna
I
be
think
with
they
the
can.
Lina. I mean, it's just
Yeah, I think they can
telekinesis
now.
into anything to follow up, really. It's definitely gonna be tough, and the telekinesis, even if you don't have like a Lina stun to follow up, it's just you pop the tombstone, you telekinesis somebody like towards your own base, and that just means that they have an even longer road to run before they get away from the tombstone, so it's gonna be tough, but TNC, they have to take that into account while just going for their own lanes, otherwise they might run like dual mid and dual safe lane, for example, Earthshaker, Leshrac safe, IO Bristleback mid lane, depending on who they're up against, but we'll see as a Clink spanned out of all heroes.
That is very peculiar. What does a Clink spring if Execration picks up? I guess they've got a predominantly ranged lineup. They don't really have anything to boost the Clinks though. Very squishy, and if you look at TNC, they have quite a few disables themselves. So I don't know if this is just a respect ban or if it's just that they're worried that Execration could just pull out a random Clinks.
Maybe so. I'm not too sure if you
Actually,
should be that afraid of the Clinks, but
I think they might be worried that they don't have enough disables to control the Clinks because they're already running a Leshrac who's going to have to not just time the stun but also position it. And their only other disable is an Earthshaker. So a Clinks could just dart in and out of TNC's lineup and, well, we're going to see our last Juggernaut pick up the TNC. So it looks like not really a IO partner, but a possibility if they want to have the Juggernaut zipping around the map. Probably going to be the Bristleback that's going to be IO's main partner though.
yeah, so the Juggernaut I think may just be a pickup to kind of preemptively expect the aggressive tri-lane possibly from Execration. Just because with the Blade Fury you should be able to make it out from there at least. Of course it depends if you get Telekinesis and Light Striker rate before Telekinesis stun duration ends. You might still be brought down early on like that, but although as good as the Blade Fury can be, it still does have a pretty long cooldown, so it's not like a guaranteed get out of jail free card every single time.
And also you can't really rely on the spin, I suppose, up against a Wind Ranger, just because if she decides to just throw the focus fire onto you, she can still hit through the spin. It's not really going to be negating anything. Weaver pick up the Execration though. I feel like the Clink span now makes a little bit of sense. Maybe they're worried just about those really mobile heroes just get in and out of the draft, but Weaver serves a similar purpose, but will he have as much impact as a Clinks would?
Yeah, we'll see, it might, maybe even a little bit more so. I think Weaver is, well, arguably at least, more stable in performance, but he definitely does need like early farm, at least a little bit of it. But Weaver, you already mentioned that the lack of lockdown is there for TNC, or at least a little bit. And as hard as it can be to hit the Clinks, it's probably even harder to land a stun as a Leshrac onto the Weaver, just Sukuchi away, if needed, even time lapse as well after that. So it can work out, but how do Execration actually lane this now? Is it really gonna be Weaver solo off lane, or are they gonna like run a Weaver aggressive try?
They could probably just put the Weaver in the safe lane, put him in a solo matchup, go aggressive tri-lane with their Undying, Rubik, and Lina, and then just have the Wind Ranger in the mid lane. They could mix it up and put Weaver in the mid lane, really. Because if it's going to be a Wisp +1, most likely the Bristleback, Weaver should not die in that matchup. There's just no lockdown from those two heroes. So Execration, they can do a lot with their draft. But we'll see if they want to play greedy, if they want to play aggressive, or if they want to play passive and get that farm.
When are they ever gonna make it so that when the game is paused you can actually see an IO? Because I never can. I just see like the name above it. If you hover over him you see like a green outlining as well, but otherwise it's just completely transparent.
That would be so hacks in a team fight if it was pause mid-fight, puppy pause, and the Wisp just disappears. Just do not see Wisp. Uh,
That would be pretty crazy to be honest. Like usually when there's a pause during the team fight, both teams can just take advantage of that. Like scout out the positioning of everybody, prepare, and suddenly a wild IO appears. It's like game unpaused. Oh, there's an extra hero, guys.
oh my goodness. Okay, so you got one reconnect and pause start. 601.
And I haven't casted Dota for quite some time, and I'm not too sure if I should be happy or sad that everything is still the same, that every single time there's a pause at the start.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they said 601. Is that supposed to mean something?
Oh, that's the pause start. Although the server was completely lagging for me even, but... So, I guess there's like a time limit on pause, maybe 10, 15 minutes? I think it's
Maybe.
probably 15, who knows? It's... Dota can be a really long game, so...
It can be. It doesn't mean it will be though. More or less.
Look at Rubik though. He's like holding an imaginary car wheel or something.
A what? Imaginary car wheel?
Yeah. Look at his hands. He's like totally driving in a car at the moment. Although he's standing up doing so.
He's got one hand on his staff. I don't know what you think
I
he's
don't.
holding.
His staff is like beneath, or not, between his feet, lying on the ground. From my perspective.
Oh my god. Maybe it's just you.
Maybe. Although the stream will see it as well. I'm totally gonna screenshot it for you. Otherwise, you're gonna think I'm crazy.
Okay, I think you are crazy, but that's fine. It's fine.
Okay, the Lena's position is even worse. Oh my god. What? Wait.
I can't even see the Lena. Oh, no, 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 I see her now. She was in the air.
She was
Okay.
doing like backwards acrobatics. Oh, now I did a screenshot of Rubik. Didn't link it to, and then like copied the screenshot of Lena over that. Damn! I failed.
Okay, so game should be starting, or the game has started. We've just got both teams rotating for the moment. Do you have a favorite team Couchor that you would like to introduce, or are you quite neutral at this point?
Completely neutral, I mean...
Completely neutral?
Yes.
That's fine.
So, it's up to you. I let the woman choose.
I'll do TNC just because I'm a little bit more familiar with the team in general. I don't cast that much Execration. So on the side of TNC, coming from the Philippines, we have Teehee handling our Juggernaut, 7 on our Earthshaker, Sam H playing on the Bristleback, EU the captain on the Wisp, and lastly we've got, oh this is hard, Noji on the Leshrac.
As for Execration, we're gonna have Burden playing the Undying with Primo and the Wind Ranger, Nando the stand-in for the Weaver. As Fox is gonna be on the Lina, and the last one, Chemo, their captain I believe, is gonna be handling the Rubik. And they are well positioned so to just go for an aggressive trial, and of course TNC. Are they really sending Noji down to the bottom lane? This Leshrac is not gonna have a fun time there solo.
This is what TNC wants, so they want to avoid the aggressive tri-lane with their safe lane farmers. So I feel this is not that bad for Noji. Yes, he's probably not going to get anything, but the thing with the Leshrac is if he can get a couple of levels, he can go for rotations and he provides something for the team. So a gank should be able to equalize his farm. But I think if Execration sees this, they might just TP in their tri-lane to a different lane, because shutting down a Leshrac is not going to shut down the entire TNC's draft. They've got a couple of other heroes to fall back to.
Well, we do already have Earthshaker as well rotating to the bottom lane, and the Fisher might be enough to even just save the Leshrac once he gets jumped. Mid lane though, this Juggernaut, I don't really expect him to have a good time, although then again, is going rather aggressive early on onto Primo even having to go into Wind Run on the first level. But there's the Telekinesis, time to follow up as well. Do they have enough damage? I think they will with a little bit of body blocking. It is gonna be the first blood, and well, Leshrac, sad horse.
That's a very sad horse. He did have quite a bit of movement speed, even though he's got no boots. Leshrac is pretty fast anyway, so he was probably hoping that he'd be able to outroute them, but that's not possible if you have a Rubik with boots. 20 movement speed faster than our dear man. So it'll be very, very sad lane for our Leshrac, and 7's going to be down there to cop pretty much all the harassment too. But if they can get a kill on the tri lane, that'll probably be a win for TNC. But unfortunately, the Fissure throwing the Lina on the wrong side of the Fissure, but they do bring Fox down for quite a bit. So Lina's just gonna have to go back, chew on tangers, and maybe have to steal someone's salve.
Yeah, as long as the Earthshaker has mana, well, with Claritas, he should have for quite some time. They're going to be fine to rather go for some aggression themselves or play defensively. But when he's running out of those Clarities, when he doesn't have mana anymore, that's when they have to be in trouble, because you can't really sustain yourself all that well as an Earthshaker. Your spells cost quite a bit. You can't even cast 2 in a row without having to regen first. But taking a quick look at the other lanes, Primo in the mid lane is just starting to overtake. Teehee there, of course. Juggernaut does have the healing ward to help out a tiny bit. But it's just a ranged versus melee matchup, and
Fox down bottom. He's receiving quite a bit of harassment. They were going to throw the... Oh, actually, no. Noji doesn't even have a point in Split Earth yet. If they did, I think they would have been able to kill Fox on the Lina. So already just being level stuff really hurting that Leshrac.
Yeah, I really have to commend Execration as well for having the lane at the position they do. Just kind of controlling it, probably denying as much as they can. I mean, Rubik has 3 denies, Weaver 5 as well. So, in an aggressive tri lane, if you can just hold the lane towards your own tower, it's just gonna make it so that you have so many more openings. Mid lane though, Primo trying to outrun T. The tether movement speed is gonna be enough with the Blade Fury. One more attack to follow after this. No, the shackle shot! But Yayo lands the kill anyway.
I love Teehee's build in that mid lane. He knows he's going up against a Wind Ranger and there's always going to be the possibility of a Wind Run. So putting points into Blade Fury means that even though she's going to be able to just run away from the right clicks, if she's under the Blade Fury, she's always going to take damage. So already just smart skills being thrown out by Teehee on the Juggernaut. They're not giving the Wind Ranger any chance in this mid lane. Even though she's CSing, they can keep killing her. This mid lane's won for TNC.
So if you're Primo now on the Wind Ranger, once you hit level 5, do you even consider going for 2 points into Wind Run just to get the extra duration from it, or do you just still keep on like skilling Power Shot and Shackle Shot instead?
It depends on how comfortable Primo is in the mid lane. If he wants to play more defensively, then he may just have to put 1 more point into Wind Run. I don't think he should go for 3 points. He should not go for more than 2 points into Wind Run, because if you're going for Wind Run, you're not putting points into Shackle Shot or Power Shot, and you need those spells to help your teams when you go for rotations or if you're going to get counter ganked or something like that. So if he wants to go for 1 more point into Wind Run, he definitely could, but I would not recommend any more than 2 points into that Wind Run.
So looking at the farm all in all, it is Execration leading on all of their core heroes. Even Undying, 19 last hits, although, yeah, speaking of Undying, does go down, just had 1 too many, just Quill Spray stacks there. Of course, nice Fissure as well coming out, so they get the 1 kill. But Execration still farming reasonably well, although I think Execration they need to be ahead. Mid lane, Primo, Wind Run, I think she's gonna get away. Nice Shackle Shot as well, making it so that the Blade Fury can start just connecting onto him, and more TPs to come, and suddenly it might be Io to go down if they just play their cards correctly, but Primo taking way too much damage. Or is it Teehee? Did have level 6 Shackle Shot, of course, doesn't latch to anything, but follow-up stuns are there. They even had Undying TP in.
Very, very over-aggressive there for TNC. They really wanted to get the Wind Ranger kill, but that hurt him. Ew! Getting caught out by the Wind Ranger. 1 more right-click should be it for Primo. He's going to bottle himself up, so a couple more, and that's going to be pretty much the end of the Wisp. Primo, though, is he going to commit Power Shot, and that finishes off the Wisp. So nice pick up there for Primo, going for a little bit extra by killing off the really low Wisp. But we also, during the gank in the mid lane, we missed a kill on the Leshrac. He was literally just run down by the Weaver, and I believe the Lina with the follow-up stun, so
look at this
unfortunate.
Level 2.5.
Yeah.
Is this a core Leshrac? Because I'm getting doubts here.
It's going to be eventually. TNC, they're going to have to give him some farm priority eventually, but because he's so low leveled, I feel
try to get the Midas on a Leshrac, or what?
No.
How do you catch up?
I don't think a Midas would be a good idea on a Leshrac, because if you buy Midas for a Leshrac, he's supposed to be the hero to come online early, and if you buy that Midas, it means that you're wanting to farm on the Leshrac rather than go for kills. But up top, we might see some trouble. We've got our bird in here being chased up by Sam H and EU. He's popped the tomb, and he's actually going to survive for a little bit longer in the backline, so we've got 7 going to go down, and that's going to be the Earthshaker, whereas Sam H, he's actually going to have to be overcharged, but unfortunately the Wisp tether ran out at the last second, so Sam H, our Bristleback's going to go down, and Chemo, he wants to go up to EU. He's got no telekinesis mana. It's actually on cooldown anyway, but Power Shot's going to finish him off. Execration really getting the better end of that stick. TNC just too aggressive.
Yeah, and it was also Teehee on the Juggernaut just not carrying a TP, otherwise you TP and maybe come in just Omni Slash somebody. But not to be this time around, and of course, Juggernaut, even if he came in, since he doesn't have a Magic Wand or Magic Stick, you can use like either the Blade Fury or the Omni Slash pretty much. It's a little bit sad towards his mana pool like that, although does he have something coming in? Yeah, it's gonna be a Wraith Band, so a little bit more stats to just help the situation. But Execration, they're really just going for some nice aggression, and I'm not sure if TNC doesn't see the just rotations coming in or what. Or, of course, trying to kill an Undying as well, who is already at least level 6. And diving a tower plus a tombstone is somewhat tricky. Mid lane though, Primo gets stunned up, Windrun is there, Omni Slash comes in as well, but goes into the creeps mostly, and man, TNC just not too much working out for them for now.
I feel that their over-aggression is the bane of their draft so far. We've seen it twice. Mid lane, they become over-aggressive and they get picked off. Up top, the exact same thing happened and they get picked off as well. If they just slow it down, if they just go for those save kills, they should be fine. But we'll see if they want to keep on with the over-aggressive playstyle. We're going to see a rotation from the two supports on Execration, Fox and Chemo. They put a sentry down just to actually block off the Ancient camp so that TNC is not going to be able to farm it up with the Bristleback. 2 minutes of not being able to farm the Ancients. Sam H is literally camping mid anyway, so that's his main source of income aside from lane farm. Noji, he just rotated lane because he wants EXP and the supports are going to come in through the river. There was a ward, but there's the lift, LSA, and that used to be El Leshrac.
He's just... anywhere he goes, he's gonna die more or less. Of course, I think safe lane is now the safest that Execration just has left, but then again, if you're a Leshrac and you're solo against a Weaver who has had a great time on the lane, and speaking of Nando, he's gonna go for one more, or can he get it? 7, rather low on mana, but didn't have the Echo Slam to just buy even more time. But they still try to go for Nando. There's the IO there, but Nando, does he even care? Is he really gonna go for the IO? Well, he tried, but that was a little bit overeager.
Bit greedy there from the Weaver. He actually had stick charges. Not too sure if he popped those.
It was on cooldown still.
Oh, it's on cooldown. If he had those stick charges, do you think he would have had enough mana for a time lapse? Because I didn't actually see his mana pool before he died.
I think he may not have, although he might have had like just enough health to survive for a couple of extra seconds to take down the IO with him, possibly. But Execration, although they lose the Weaver, they did get the 1 kill. Splitter misses Chemo there. But they're going to get the tier 1 tower top burden. He's going to go for a mech, I think, on the Undying for their team. And once they also get the mech, it's going to be rather difficult for TNC to just kill them in fights.
I don't think they have enough damage output once that mech comes online for Execration. You look at their draft, Leshrac is supposed to be a primary damage dealer. He's very underleveled. Teehee on the Juggernaut, a mech can pretty much negate all the damage that he ever does. And Bristleback, he's probably the main damage dealer on the side of TNC, but that's progressive damage. He can't really burst people down. So Mechanism's going to be really problematic for TNC once that does come online for Execration.
So if you look at the graphs as well, it is about a 3k network lead and a, well, 1300 or so XP lead for Execration. So it's not that massive, and Bristleback still also farming pretty nicely for TNC. Has himself a Vanguard, which this is definitely going to help, and it might even be the full Crimson card to come out for him.
I don't see anything wrong with a Crimson Guard. If you look at TNC, they actually are going to be relying on a lot of physical damage as the game goes later. Omni Slash going to pick up the Wind Ranger in the mid lane. Really nice stuff by Teehee. Nice and calculated there. Seeing no creeps and saying, okay, you are mine. Chop, chop, and chop.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible to escape like that. Although, bottom lane Nando, never mind.
Oh.
I thought he wanted to go for a kill or something on the Weaver, but he just used the Swarm to, I don't know, push, I guess. But Sam H on the Bristleback is close by as well. Although, Sam H, if he's gonna stay by himself, he's gonna be in trouble because Rubik, he's around, and also Burden on the Undying is closing in.
Pause time 6:15.
I'm not
6
sure.
minutes and 15 seconds?
Oh no, it's 6:15, or is it? Yeah, it's 6:15.
It's 6:15
like,
right
yeah,
now.
it's 6:15 p.m. SGT or whatnot. But I would have thought that it's like you have like X amounts of minutes remaining, but In the meantime, can they get the Bristleback Chemo? Is it fast enough on the Rubik? We need some body blocking Weaver. Well, it's hard to body block if you have the Sukuchi, of course, but they got the slow with the Tombstone Zombie. And now they should get the kill as well.
They should get him. He is dropping pretty low. Nando there with the final Sukuchi. Just gonna send him to the grave. And this is probably just gonna secure that bottom lane for Execration as well. The tower's very low, so one more creep wave should really do it. And the Tombstone
And the range
zombies.
on that is huge.
It is. It's very big.
But that's gonna be another tower down. Another win for Execration. But I mean, TNC, they still have an IO combination, but they just like need a mech as well to kind of make use of it. And of course, they still need Knoji to find some farm. He's level 6 now, so he's getting more points into Lightning Storm, which is gonna be nice. But only 25 last hits, 4 deaths to his name as well. And oh, he might go down again. And no, doesn't quite have enough before the TP comes in. But he dropped down to I think like 20 health or something.
I just imagined Nando there just kind of lifting his arms up saying, "Why you do this, bug? You failed me." That should have been a kill for the Weaver, that should have, but he just needed a tiny bit more damage in that bug. That bug.
Yeah,
But Execration. Are they really going to try and jump onto Sam H again? He is a very tanky target. Supports are going to leave and they're just going to chuck the Undying in the lane to kind of scare him off. And they're going to try and find kills elsewhere. These supports on Execration, they have been so aggressive. They're just roaming around together, grabbing kills. I really like these two supports together. You got Lena for burst, you have the Rubik there for the setup, whereas TNC, they only have a Earthshaker really as a support to roam around, and he can't really do everything by himself. If he had another support with him to try and go for ganks, I feel like it will be so much easier for Execration. Oh, he has found Fox. Oh, there's no Sentry Ward. They don't even know that Fox is there. I think they went for a smoke as well. Do they smoke?
yeah, they
I
smoke.
had a feeling they did, yeah.
That's just great positioning for Fox. And of course, every single time you see a smoke coming into you and you have invis, you should be scared just because maybe there's a sentry. But they didn't have it, so Fox was fine. Rubik gets to steal Blade Fury. I think Blade Fury definitely has its uses as a Rubik to steal, but it's probably all about the other two spells. Healing Ward, now 7. He's gonna go down. Power Shot as well. Laguna Blade, do they need it? They do. And the Tether couldn't even finish. Oya couldn't quite get close enough to Fox. But Fox, can he escape now? Gnoji trying to close in. If it just gets a Lightning Storm, maybe it's gonna be enough for the slow, but and not to be.
That coordination was so good between the Lena and the Wind Ranger. The fact that Power Shot got buffed, oh, I forgot, it was like 2 or 3 patches ago, just having that buff really helping out the Wind Ranger, and also the Lena grabbing that kill. So, very cute plays. We'll see if that's going to happen a bit more for the Execration. The game's still early, heroes are squishy, so they absolutely can keep doing that combo if they want to.
Yeah, the range is just, I mean, it's so sick that you have to zoom out like 2 or 3 levels to actually see the end of the range there for the power shot. But now, Execration just getting farther ahead. Looks like Nando might be going for a straight up Desolator, has the Mithril Hammer already. Of course, it might still be a BKB as well, or maybe a Maelstrom, but it's, I'm hoping for a Desolator. And
I feel it might be a bit greedy for a Deso. He is still very squishy, and TNC they have some burst. We've seen the Weaver die before, so I feel that he should just go for a little bit more HP, maybe that BKB. Although he just doesn't need that BKB this game. If he's fighting with his team, there's only going to be the Earthshaker disable, and he's probably going to use it for someone else, not just that Weaver.
yeah, it's just the fact that you BKB, you get Omni Slashed. Or it can happen at least. Bristleback all about the physical damage as well. Although it's hard to say. A BKB wouldn't be like that bad. Because if you do get hit by the Split Earth, like you said, they can definitely still kill the Weaver. And no, at the moment it's pretty low. No Lightning Storm to land on him. But he's gonna go for the Desolator, and in fact, he already has it. Oh, Shadowblade Wind Ranger? My eyes do not deceive me. We have a Shadowblade Wind Ranger. I think that's a first for me.
Sorry, headsets are dying. I'll just be right
I
back.
felt like, what? I lost you. I lost you. Don't leave me alone. But in any case, 15 minutes in.
My headset just went for an absolute Titanic. It just fell off my table. I can't wear my headsets anymore. I've just got to use it on the table. So sad, but it's okay.
Oh,
It's
look
fine.
at what Execration are doing. They get the Desolator for the minus armor, and straight into the Roche Pit they go. And it should be a rather easy one as well. They don't have a medallion to speed it up even more, but TNC, they are so grouped up and they're rather close as well, but they just have no idea that it's going on.
TNC, they don't really have too much ward vision. If you look at the wards on the map, they've only got one, and it's only this one up here, so they've just got very limited vision. They just can't see any rotations from Execration because they've been dewarding. So if TNC puts wards out, chances are Execration will possibly deward it, and the lack of vision means that TNC, they can't farm everywhere, they can't just go for any sort of rotation because they have to constantly be worried about being spotted out. Nando, he wants EU on the Wisp, and look how quickly he's going to go down with the Death Zone. He's going to throw the bugs as well. He's actually going to time-lapse back into the tree line. So Nando being very cautious, even though he has Aegis. I like that he's just going to be playing carefully, just not throwing the Aegis out willy-nilly.
Yeah, the time lapse not that long of a cooldown either. Mana cost only 75 now that it's level 2. But they do have Elina just TPing to the top lane. They don't really want to give anything away. They have a free tower advantage at the moment. And Lina pretty damn close to a Yule Scepter as well, so can start setting up Light Strike Arrays by herself. And TNC, I mean, what's your plan now? Well, I guess just smoke up and go for something.
I think TNC for the moment, their only plan is that they have to sit back and get some more farm onto Teehee as well as Sam H on the Bristleback. They're going to be their main carries into the late game. And you look at these heroes, they can really cut through Execration's draft. If you look at Execration's heroes, a lot of them are heroes that are going to fall off eventually. So you have an Undying who pretty much gives you nothing when the game goes pretty late. You have Alina who she is going to scale pretty well, but she's in a support position, so items on her, they're not going to come that quickly. A Rubik, he's got no big spells to steal. You look at TNC, what's he really going to steal that's going to make him a really big threat?
Splitter and Fisher. Oh, the shackle shot onto Gnoji. The focus fire to follow, but he is tanky enough for now. Or rather, I guess Windranger doesn't really do all that much damage with that Shadow Blade of hers. I mean, I still can't believe she went for Shadow Blade.
It's not a bad item. You can get the Silver Edge and you disable the Bristleback passive as well as Warpath, or you can disable the Juggernaut crit.
Is it only me? I mean, I've always thought that calling the Bristleback's ability Bristleback is just, I don't know, silly.
I found it stupid.
Yes.
It's just like, for example, if Rubik had his passive called Rubik. That's what it feels like. But oh, there's a really nice Omni Slash, but Lina very quick with the Yules, and Fox is going to get out, and Teehee not going to be over-aggressive, just going to back up because he's very worried about being picked up. He is going to have his spin stolen, though, by the Rubik. At first, you look at this one and you think, why would a Rubik want to have the Blade Fury? That means he's going to be able to fall back onto the magic immunity from it. So it's a very nice steal for Chemo to have until he can get that really big spell that he wants.
I mean, I still think it's probably better to get a Healing Ward or Omni Slash, but it's definitely not bad either. But TNC now, they are bulking up, well, maybe not as a whole, but at least Sam H on the Bristleback, who did just finish a food now. So working on quite possibly a pipe for their team. But they see Teehee. Do they have 4 staffs or blinks or anything? Nope. They don't have that much vision either really at the moment because TNC, they do have the sentry ward on the hill there. But if you're Execration, do you want to force something before you lose the Aegis, or are you just fine with what you've gotten so far?
I'm pretty sure if they just grab all the T2 towers, they'd be pretty happy with that. Just grab all the T2s, lots of gold coming in your way, not just for your cause but support. Oh, Teehee. Is he going to be able to Teehee out on it? Looks like he could be. And there's the relocate, so...
Oh, what got stolen now? It was the Lightning Storm for Chemo, and that can actually do a lot of damage, but relocate. Look at the positioning it's going to come back. I think it's downhill. Tombstone already waiting. They get the Lightning Storm slow. Splitter completely misses everybody, but the mech comes out, and Sam H is in the front lines. He kills the Tombstone, and Execration forced to go away. They lose one to the Lightning Storm. The range on that is pretty sick, and Nando, he is dropping low himself as well. Weaver just trying to hide now.
He's got stick charges as well as the Aegis, so even if he dies, he should be able to get out since TNC's lacking that disable. So it's only been a Alina kill. We saw 5 heroes, 5 vs 5. Stuff happened, and only Alina went down. So both teams, they're not going ham for the kills. I like how TNC's doing it. They're trying to grab kills, and the moment it becomes dangerous, they just play defensive and back off. Because they know that with the kills, if they even just get one, it's going to go in their favor just because they're already behind.
I mean, in that fight, we saw that Leshrac, even if you don't really have any farm, or not that much farm, as long as you can stay in the back lines and just continuously spam out Lightning Storm, that by itself already starts adding up. And Rubik, I don't think... Well, there is 1 point into the spell shield now. Or null
Into
field.
the Rubik.
And that's actually
Got
going to be
1
pretty
point.
huge to have the null field max later on.
It's only going to really hurt the Leshrac if you think about it. And I guess the spin damage as well, but aside from that, TNC
You say only
are going to fall
Leshrac,
back to
but
physical.
that's like a whole team's worth of magic damage from one hero. Easy.
Oh, so you consider Leshrac a 5-man magical magic train or something.
Absolutely.
I see. Well, he does output quite a bit of damage himself, and being able to negate it's nice. Do you think they're going to grab any Glimmer Capes? They actually are. Lena's going to grab a Glimmer Cape eventually. Rubik, he probably doesn't even need one, he just gets a built-in cape-ish with the null field. No invisibility, but still, magic resistance is nice.
Okay, so a couple of item upgrades we see coming out now is Silver Age for Primo. So you already mentioned it earlier, you can just disable the passive of Bristleback. I'm not gonna say double Bristleback because that's just retarded, but it's definitely gonna be nice, and that's actually one thing that in the next fight when Bristleback doesn't know it's coming up yet, or doesn't know that Windranger has it, he may just go to the front lines and suddenly you're like, oh crap, I'm not tanky at all.
I'm not too sure whose ping that was, but if it was TNC, I'm pretty sure they know that this Silver Age is on the Windranger now. I'm not too sure if it was TNC that pinged out Primo or not. Someone pinged it. I didn't see the colour. Oh, Teehee. Not going to be able to Teehee out of this one, I think. Actually, it's got Omni Slash, and the Wisp is going to be there with the Overcharge. He's still alive, and they're just going to relocate.
I mean,
So.
do you think that actually the Juggernaut wanted to go to an Omni Slash? Just Omni Slash the Rubik? Because he was moving towards the Rubik. I think he really wanted Omni Slash, but suddenly he got relocated out there.
I think he lost vision. Because, remember, that Rubik is on the hill, and if you stop attacking your target, you lose vision of the...
Man, Rubik never stopped attacking.
He never stopped attacking.
He never stopped.
Well, who knows? Maybe he did consider it, but then EO just says, no, we don't know where the rest of the heroes are, let's just back up. Because there's no wards, except for this one here, for TC. And this one's not going to give him anything until this tower goes down. So they're already giving their condolences to this tower here, with that ward.
Yeah, vision really, definitely not that great for TNC, and they have one more thing to worry about now, and that's the BKB on Nando. So Weaver is gonna have the damage output from the Desolator, and of course now the survivability from the BKB as well. But Bristleback, man, he's so damn tanky. The one thing that is maybe lacking a little bit is armor. So if you like get Desolator, you are pretty much zeroed out. But Io does have a buckler, and how close is he to a mech? Just needs the recipe still.
This is going to be very painful for TNC, because they're going to have so much damage reduction. You have the mech with the heal, and now you have the pipe as well on the Undying. If Execration gets the Crimson Guard, they're just going to go for the full-on package. Magic resistance, damage reduction, as well as some extra effective HP for the rest of the team. But we have TNC, they're moving out as a unit. And we'll see what they're able to get with this. Execration, they're kind of split up at this point. If they get picked off, it'll be a nice win for TNC just to secure a little bit more map control. And they see an illusion. Are they really going to go for it? They're just going to pop the Lightning Storm and they see that it's an illusion. So no wasted Omni Slash there for Teehee. They will see another illusion though.
Yeah, it could have been a rather big disaster to be honest if you use an Omni Slash like that. Because that's pretty much the go time for Execration now. You know, the Omni Slash is on cooldown. But Execration, is there a way for them to like safely bait out an Omni Slash, or is any way of baiting an Omni Slash too risky?
Relocate up top, and they're going to go after Bird and Teehee as well as EU. Now, are they going to be able to get this? Because the Wisp is dropping pretty low. Look at all the damage it's taking Primo. If he snipes off the Wisp, and that's going to be Teehee's boss back home gone. And, well, he's just going to phase breach out of there. He's got no Mask of Madness, so he's just going to rely on his base movement speed with the bonus from Sanjin Yasha. He's out of there, but Execration, they TP'd in 3 heroes for that Wisp kill. Lots of commitment.
Well, they can still just go and push down the tier 2 as well. Oh, bottom lane though, Nando gonna go on Sam Mage. Bristleback doesn't really have too much to take on Nando by himself at the moment. But with Weaver being on the bottom lane, that just means the top lane push is that much slower because Desolator is a huge boost in just pushing power.
It was a really nice vision there to keep the Lina back, and actually Teehee already used the Omni Slash, but it bounced between between the heroes, so no one actually got sniped down there. Now Burden as well as Fox, they're going to try and make a getaway. Chemo's there. Laguna Blade was thrown out onto Noji. That's going to be the Leshrac down. Fox, they're being chased out by Teehee. He's going to be healed up a little bit by the Undying. He's actually going to be disconnected by the Fissure, but it doesn't really matter. Lena's gone down, and Burden, he's just going to make a getaway, whereas Teehee and EU, looks like they should back up. Primo waiting in the wings, though. He might try and go for a snipe, but there is a sentry ward, and TNC, they're just going to get out. Lena for a Leshrac, but still a massive win for TNC.
Yeah, it's just them holding on, to be honest, is what helps them. Bottom lane, they did take a little bit of damage on the tier 1, but they really do need the Weaver in the fights as well to like get proper physical damage, because they're lacking it otherwise. Wind Ranger with the build that she's gone for isn't that effective either, even with the Focus Fire for now. Oh, Fissure mid lane stolen. Can they get follow-ups? Disables, no Teehee, just stay pures and will be safe for now. But they really need the Weaver there as well. If Weaver happening on the top lane, that's at the moment the tier 2 down, plus probably a couple more heroes from TNC dead. But then again, on the same note, Weaver being bottom did also make it so that the Bristleback had to be in the bottom lane. But it's Roshan. Once again, I feel like it was a really short respawn.
I feel like it was really short as well. And, well, looks like this should be a Roshan for Execration unless TNC scouts it out. But they're just kind of going through their jungle at this point. Teehee just wanting farm and EU just waiting in the wings in case someone jumps on him. So Execration, I don't think they actually can take this down unless they have someone tank it, and you don't really want to have the Rubik to tank it, but Burden's going to come in, Whistler as well as Teehee. They're going to be there. Fish are going to keep him disconnected for that little bit longer, but the Roshan's not actually that lone. EU getting caught by the Shackle Shot, and Primo's going to take him down. Teehee, he's there with the spin. The Whisper's down. So Execration, what do they do at this point? TNC, the Yules is onto the Leshrac. Can they actually have any follow-up disables? Noji's still there. There's a Fissure from our Rubik, and that's actually going to keep 3 heroes in place, but the Omni Slash went through, but no one on TNC is dead yet. And the Rubik's still trying to make a chase onto Teehee. Echo Slam onto 3 heroes, I believe. The Laguna Blade going to finish off the Earthshaker. Sam H on the Bristleback going to go down as well, even if he TPs. Actually, the Bristleback Quill's doing a lot of work. The TNC is still alive, and the only hero that made it out was Teehee on that Juggernaut.
And Juggernaut himself did do a little bit more with the Omni Slash now than he did with the last one on the top lane, but... Oh, Relocate coming in, they know so many heroes are low. IO trying to go for the big plays. He even kills the Weaver, so if nothing else, at least it's gonna be just Weaver not having the Aegis for the next fight.
It's okay, I suppose, but Weaver has time-lapse anyway, so if he has a split moment, he can always just time-lapse back to where he was, whereas if you put it onto Primo, he doesn't have that second life, and that means he can go a bit more YOLO into the middle of the fight. He can just run into the middle, go, probably not pop wind run, but just go in there, try and focus fire someone down. Even if he dies, focus fire, he's just pretty much done his job at that point.
Yeah, and since I think at least Wind Ranger is going for the Aghanims next, just the cooldown of Focus Fire is going to be so low as well that you can really just pop Focus Fire on somebody, chase them down, die, come back up, and your Focus Fire will be off cooldown more or less. So you can definitely just kind of kamikaze mode on anybody like that. But is the Weaver or are the Weaver and the Wind Ranger farming enough at the moment to just comfortably go towards the late game? Because TNC, it's not like the Juggernaut and Bristleback are starved by any means.
The Juggernaut and the Bristleback, they don't have enough to take down the Execration heroes. They are relatively tanky, and the Juggernaut's a little bit more elusive, but look at Execration's heroes. You have a Wind Ranger who, if you think about it, is not doing that much damage. She will have an Aghanim soon, so extra stats plus having that really short cooldown onto Focus Fire is going to help him out. And also it's going to get rid of the damage reduction, I believe. It should anyway. Weaver, though, taking down EU, poor Wisp, is just in the jungle by himself.
So we do have an Ando now with a Reaver, so we're gonna go for some tank, but we also have a Desolator on the Juggernaut, so how much armor do Execration even have? It's not a lot, I have to say. I mean, it's like 4 on Wind Ranger, 4 on Lena, for example. So the Desolator plus the Quill Sprays, they're gonna start doing a lot of work, I think.
It's nice synergy, and if he's noticed that he's been unlucky with the Omni Slash bounces. It hasn't really killed one hero, so he says, okay, I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm going to Omni Slash, it's going to hit everybody, and they're going to have their armor reduced so that Sam H can do his job. So we'll see if it pays off in the end. I don't know if it's actually going to help Teehee's right clicks if he goes for Omni Slash as well, so he's just going for cheap damage. He can't really go for anything expensive. But keep in mind, he has no buyback, so if Teehee dies, then they could potentially lose their middle T3 tower after this T2.
Yeah, Primo just with the Aghanims now finished. Focus fire on the tier 2. Takes an easy tower. Nano in the meantime pushing out bottom lane. Just keeping at least one hero occupied from TNC there as well. So maybe they're waiting for the... Well, I think at least. It should be the Heart of Tarask for Weaver coming out next. And it's not that far away, just needs the one component. Burden has himself a pipe now on the Undying plus and point booster. And I think I saw something else being purchased. Or maybe not. Maybe it was Delusions or... Bristleback, did he just now finish the Crimson Guard?
No, he had that really early. You actually mentioned that he had a Crimson Guard very early. It may have been the Wind Ranger Aghanims that came not too long ago.
I'm pretty sure I saw a buckler. I mean, I know we talked about the possibility of a Crimson Guard, but did he actually finish it earlier as well, or...?
I believe he did. I think he did. Oh, Noji. Be very careful, my dear friend. You may get caught out because Fox is waiting in the wings, Blink Dagger coming off cooldown, and we may see a dead Leshrac. Fox still sitting in the tree line though, and the fight's gonna happen. Teehee there with the spin, EU being lifted up, and the Wisp, he's actually still alive for a little bit longer, and looks like he will finally go down, but look at Primo on that Wind Ranger just being jumped on the entire draft, but unfortunately they're gonna have to back up at this point. Who's gonna be their new target? Teehee gonna be shackled to a creep, although in the backlines they got Sam H being Omni-slashed by Chemo, but that's gonna do nothing. And we have Teehee trying to run away, but unfortunately going to be brought down. And that's a wicked 6 streak. Actually, that was a wicked 6 streak on the Rubik that Sam H stole, but unfortunately, with good things, they must come to an end. And Bristleback just going to sit in the fountain.
I mean, just when you can hit the Bristleback straight in the face, suddenly not that tanky at all, especially if you have a Desolator debuff helping out. So they get a massive fight. I mean, like you said, Rubik did have a spree on him. And, oh, the Eul Scepter onto Knoji as well. Poor Leshrac, no! Don't let him die again. Oh, that's just 2 Blaststone charges. The value is real.
That's just not a game for Noji. He'll shut down during the laning phase, has been shut down during the mid game, and we're coming into the late game. He's got a Bloodstone, which it's nice, but it's not really enough to justify a Leshrac who's just so underfarmed and underleveled. So I feel like the laning stage pretty much just screwed TNC's draft overall.
Yeah, I really think it just all came down to sending Leshrac towards a rather obvious aggressive tri-lane at least. Otherwise, if you have like a Juggernaut trying to farm there, it's probably better with just sending Leshrac mid, for example. Although I have to say, I'm not too sure how well Leshrac will do against Wind Ranger, but it must be a hell of a lot better than it just went for him otherwise.
Yeah, I guess they just put more farm priority on the Juggernaut and the Bristleback, because if any of those heroes become underfarmed, it's actually much harder for them to farm when they're in such a horrible position. So they thought, okay, if the Leshrac's poor and we have those other 2 heroes farm up, it's okay because the Leshrac can come back with farm. But he just hasn't had enough farm. I don't think TNC went for any jungle stacks for it. Up top, oh, the Wisp. He had to relocate back to base to run away from Nando, but actually he's got teammates coming nearby, so he might be able to just pretty much tether to 7. He's waiting for it. And there's the tether on Nando. Gonna back up. Dust popped and they realize, okay, the Weaver, he's ran away. Not able to ambush him.
Well, at least Crimson Guard, I guess it's not that long of a cooldown though. Still about 70 seconds is something to consider, but... Execration, 1 Rax advantage. They have an Aghanims now on Fox. Lots of pure damage, although it's not a level 3 ultimate yet, it's still considerable for sure. Chemo, Shadow Amulet, so maybe the Glimmer Cape to come out later on. And there's even gonna be Aghanims on the Undying in about 400 gold.
I don't see a lot of people talking about the Undying Aghanims. It's really, really nice just to have that extra attack amplification when Undying's closer to TNC. And they can't even focus them down, because if you kill the Undying, you leave the other heroes alive on the side of Execration, and they're the main problem. Those other heroes are the problem, it's not Burden. So the fact that if you try and target those other heroes, Burden's still alive. So it's a lose-lose situation for TNC no matter who they take down. It's just Execration's draft, it's not built around that one hero. They all work together, and if one goes down, you still can fall back on the other 3/4.
Yeah, it's really the draft at the moment. It was maybe a little bit scary because Execration, they really needed the early to mid game to just kind of work out or at least break even, if nothing else, but it went rather great for them. Chemo though, is he gonna be in some trouble? He does have a 4-staff, but I'm not sure it's gonna be enough unless he gets himself to the low ground right now. Oh, he managed to do so.
This does not look good for TNC. They got 3 heroes, and Nano's going to be the first one to come in, and 7, he's just going to TP out right out. But will he be able to get out? He will. They're going to leave Teehee, and EU, he's just going to just pretty much book it for the fountain. Now, Teehee looks like he's not going to be very lucky. Going to pop the healing. Oh, actually, that's not going to live for that long. Actually, no, it's still alive. Sorry. I actually didn't think it was surviving, but the power shot not there to actually pick up Teehee, but he would have survived anyway. Really smart plays coming out from Teehee, but unfortunately, the T3 tower down bottom is going to be sieged. So how will TNC make this defense? Are they going to try and go for the jump in, or are they going to play counter? Oh, that was a really nice fissure. It's blocked off those heroes. No, there was a tiny spot there for EU. Trying to survive on the Wisp, and Teehee is there with the spin. Omni Slash is actually still on cooldown. So unfortunately, Teehee can't really do anything. Laguna to the face, and that's going to be Teehee down. And he's got buyback available, but what's he going to give even if he buys back? Sam H on the Bristback going to go down. Zoji on our poor Leshrac going to have to commit suicide, and that's the GG coming out from TNC. The laning phase, it pretty much killed the game for them, whereas Execration, really good rotations with the supports, and they really handled the game very well. The moment that they saw someone being jumped on, they just brought their entire draft and just got those counter kills required.
Yeah, I think Execration definitely played it nicely at the moment, and Leshrac just not getting enough farm to be impactful enough, just because otherwise Juggernaut and Bristleback had decent farm, but I think also TNC, they weren't moving as well as a unit. I mean, you could see that the Execration, they just backed each other up at all times, supports were there. But this is a best of 5, and there's going to be plenty of chances for just TNC to just stage a comeback of sorts, because there's a minimum, an absolute minimum of 2 more games coming up, guys. So, having said that, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed the casting so far. If you have, you can check the casters out at Couchor for me, at Daneliecasts for my co-caster, and we'll see you back for game number 2 in just a couple of minutes.